there is a lot of talent in the WWE. But right now, I feel like there's a little bit of a disparity in the shows. It feels like SmackDown is starting to fall behind Raw a little too much. Obviously, WWE values its partnership with Netflix, and they have pushed a lot of the product towards the Monday Night Raw brand. And that's understandable. That's a lot of money that Netflix is forking over, and not to mention the fact that internationally, they're also getting it for SmackDown as well, but just not in the States. But at the end of the day, it feels like overall, no matter the reasons, that Friday Night SmackDown is just kind of a step behind Monday Night Raw. And I think the perfect example of this is by looking at the current world title feuds. On Monday Night Raw, we are getting, in my opinion, one of the best world title feuds that we have seen in some time in CM Punk versus Braun Breaker. Meanwhile, on SmackDown, it feels like we have drawn out this story. We've drawn out this feud between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, and in a way that it's already kind of lost its steam. And I understand. This has been going on since September. So this is in the midst of a 3-month storyline. But let's not act like the CM Punk Braun Breaker storyline didn't start in October when Seth Rollins got injured at Crown Jewel, because it did. You look at that, and while, yes, it hasn't been specifically outlined, CM Punk versus Braun Breaker, for very long. That came about directly after Survivor Series War Games, the weekend after Thanksgiving. But this storyline has been building since October, because when Rollins went down with injury, Braun Breaker speared him through the mat. Bronson Reed hit him with tsunami after tsunami, and Seth Rollins was no more. What did Braun Breaker do with the title? He took it for himself. He said, all right, this is mine now. It's just a matter of the general manager and the organization agreeing that it is mine now, because it is. He wore it out of the ring that night. He wore it back into the ring the following Monday, so he had the title for a week. And then Adam Pearce is like, it's not how this works, dude. We have a number one contender, and his name's CM Punk. We're going to find another one. And you know what? Because of what you did, because you're the reason this title is vacated, you're not in the number one contenders battle royal. So, okay, Braun Breaker intentionally kept away from the number one contender, CM Punk. Fast forward to Saturday night's main event, 2 SNMEs ago, CM Punk wins the world title. Okay, Braun Breaker doesn't interfere at all in that match. Why? Because Paul Heyman says no matter who comes out of that match on Sunday, you can take them out. So again, building to this. And then War Games happens. Braun Breaker pins CM Punk. All of a sudden, the confrontation comes to a head. Braun Breaker gets the matchup against Punk on Monday Night Raw on January 5th. This has been 2 months in the making, and yet they haven't had a one-on-one match yet. Meanwhile, on SmackDown, the reason this feud feels a little stale is because they've already had 3 title matches. Add on the fact that there's War Games and the fact that, listen, the work being done by both Braun Breaker and CM Punk on the microphone is hard for anybody to keep up with. Braun Breaker is having breakout moment after breakout moment on the microphone. Meanwhile, CM Punk cut his best promo since coming back to WWE on Braun Breaker earlier this week. It's hard for anybody to keep up with. But again, why is Cody so mad at Drew again? I understand 3 months ago, he tried to kick his head through a table, or he did kick his head through a table, put him on the shelf, but Cody's beaten him 3 times. He's retained 3 times. He screwed Drew over. So I understand that. And then Cody got mad again. It's coming back to me now because it's been such a long story that you get lost in a lot of these instances. I mean, there's a reason that at Saturday night's main event, it was great to see Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes. The Friday night before that, it was great in the ring to see Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes in a promo battle because there is a lack of significant storytelling. And I think that is something that we've seen throughout Friday Night SmackDown for the better part of the last couple of months. It's a lack of significant storytelling and it's repetitive in themes. We've seen a very similar story be told between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre week after week after week. But here's the thing. It's not anything to do with talent. Maybe it's not as deep as the Monday Night Raw roster over on SmackDown, but the talent is there. I mean, Solo Sikoa and Carmelo Hayes capitalize on the momentum that they have from the John Cena tournament. Carmelo Hayes got a huge reaction last week on Friday Night SmackDown. Solo Sikoa has looked as strong as he has looked in a long time during that tournament. Plus, he was the sole survivor in the traditional Survivor Series tag match on that Friday Night SmackDown. Rey Fenix and Sami Zayn are great pieces. Utilize them more. Heel Jade Cargill has been great. Watching her just mow down opponents is interesting. Now, the one thing I'd like to see there is more significant opponents appearing. Yes, Tiffany is that, and when she comes back, that's going to be a very big confrontation. Maybe once Bianca Belair comes back, she comes to Friday Night SmackDown, and that's a big confrontation. But again, those are two pieces that, as of this current moment, are not actively on the show week after week. The tag division on Friday is more stacked than the tag division on Monday, and yet the tag division on Monday is getting more airtime, is getting more opportunity, and is also being featured on big PLEs and big cards like the Saturday night's main event for John Cena. The tag division is stacked over there. The Wyatts, the MFTs, the Motor City Machine Guns. It goes on and on and on. DIY. I mean, there's so much Street Profits. There's so much talent on Friday Night SmackDown. You just need to start utilizing them a little bit better. You need to put a little bit more of the Monday Night Raw type of storytelling on Friday Night SmackDown. I think that's what's missing. And also, if you want to make it deeper, there is a crop of NXT call-ups that I think fit perfectly into SmackDown. Obafemi. I'd love to see him on the same roster as Cody Rhodes. I'd love to see him become a big player on Friday Night SmackDown. Trick Williams is a guy that, I'm not sure where he's going to end up, but he could fit on Friday Night SmackDown. Ricky Saints on Friday nights. You're telling me a heel Ricky Saints joining a brand that is led by a baby-faced Cody Rhodes wouldn't be an interesting confrontation? And then Ethan Page screams savior of SmackDown to me. That seems like exactly what that show is missing. Somebody that can be that good on the mic and that good in the ring. I think that's somebody that SmackDown desperately needs. So there's plenty of ways to get that back to level with Monday Night Raw. I'm just hoping that we see that at the beginning of 2026. Again, this is not a criticism of the talent over there. It's a criticism of the storytelling because it feels like there's just a little bit more that gets put into Monday Night Raw. And that's just my personal opinion. You might have a different one, but it feels like, the storytelling isn't doing the talent justice over there. And I'm hoping that's something that changes here in the new year.